It's just this awkward moment, you know, like you would never think this was happening in New York.
It's crazy. It's beyond the water to come up so high as it did.
We felt safe in our apartment, but, looking down to the street and seeing the water was pretty scary.
It was just crazy. Had a hard time getting to out of my house.
We had to go out the second story window. These guys helped us down from the second part of the roof.
Well, these are just some of the powerful images across the Northeast right now as residents work to rebuild in the aftermath of Sandy.
39 people are now dead. More than 8.2 million people are without power.
Now, power companies say it could be at least 3 days before power is restored and about a week in other areas. There's no estimate on when public transportation will be running, but New York's bridges opened back up this afternoon.
New York's governor credits state troopers, the National Guard, and emergency workers for saving hundreds of lives last night, and the rescue effort continues tonight. We checked back in with Missouri's Task Force 1 after they left last night. The task force could be on their way to New York or New Jersey in the next few hours, a little bit later than their original target time of 5 p.m. And we're working to get in touch with the crews out there and should know more about their mission coming up tonight at 6.
Tonight, employees from Ameren, Missouri are on the East Coast helping the millions without power. ABC 17's Hannah Mordeau has been keeping in touch with crews in New Jersey. Hannah, they're not even fixing the outages yet, are they?
That's right. Ameren crews say they won't know how bad things really are for a few days, but they tell me this damage is some of the worst they've ever seen. More than 400 employees were sent to the East Coast. 200 of them are contractors. What they have been able to do so far is move trees blocking the roads and start putting up electric poles. They tell me it's possible that some people could be out of power for more than a week. Ameren's focus at this time is to get these people out of the cold and safe, a task that's difficult with the conditions everyone is facing.
I've seen a lot of down wires and trees that hit broken poles, and I've also seen a lot of flooding from the intense rain that's going on. So they're really right now just getting a handle on what repairs they have to make.
Ameren is also focusing on the safety of their own employees. 200 of their people are working linemen and logistics positions, meaning they're keeping those working outside stocked with supplies and food.
All right, thanks a lot, Hannah. Some of Ameren's crews are still on their way to the East Coast, but are fighting weather conditions just to get there.
And today, 12 Columbia Water and Light linemen moved to Ohio. There are now more than 50,000 customers without power in Cleveland.
The Columbia crews made it there this afternoon, but are not sure how long they'll be needed. Utility companies from across the country are being called and placed in areas with the current need.
Although Sandy is weakening, it is still bringing heavy rain and flooding through the Northeast. Waves on southern Lake Michigan have risen above 20 feet today, tying a record. Now President Obama is asking people in the area, even those who are safe, to not take federal orders lightly. There are still risks from flooding and downed power lines. Government agencies are ensuring governors in the Northeast they will provide necessary aid.
Sandy may end up costing the United States about $50 billion. This would be about $20 billion in damages and $30 billion in lost business. That's according to the forecasting firm IHS Global. The storm shut down 70% of East Coast oil refineries and inflicted worse than expected damage in the New York metro area. That area produces about 10% of the United States' economic output. More than 18,000 flights have been canceled today in the aftermath of Sandy. JetBlue Airlines shared this picture this afternoon. This is from LaGuardia Airport in New York. There have now been 27,000 flights canceled over the past 2 days. Airlines say it could be a week before schedules return back to normal. Amtrak also says most train service in the Northeast will be suspended, and subway stations around the Northeast are shut down because of the flooding.
As the Red Cross works to set up shelters and provide immediate aid to Sandy's victims, the organization says they will face major shortfalls in the months to come. Sandy forced the cancellation of more than 300 blood drives in 14 states. Red Cross now says they'll have a critical blood shortage. They now say one of the best things you can do to help is to give blood. You can also provide immediate disaster relief. We also have a link on our website, abc17news.com, where you can donate to disaster relief through the Red Cross.
Also on our website, you can find the latest information on Hurricane Sandy. That includes rescue efforts, current curfews, and power outages. Just click on the Sandy banner on the right side of the homepage.
Well, back here at home, it's a cool evening tonight, but we are already starting to see this gradual warm-up. ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Sharon Ray has more on what's in store here tonight in your first full complete forecast.
Yes, it is a rather pleasant evening, just a little cool out there right now. We have some high clouds which are continuing to move into the area, and 56 degrees at Columbia to 57 at Jefferson City, 54 at the lake. A little cooler out here as the clouds have become a little thick as they're moving in from the west, and you can see those upper 50s in our far eastern counties right now. We'll have those high clouds increasing through the evening and temperatures dropping from 52 at 6 to 42 at 9 o'clock this evening. It'll stay dry with a northwest breeze that'll continue to hold steady between 5 and 10 overnight. We have a disturbance, an upper level disturbance that's helping to increase our high clouds this evening. Those will be passing through and moving out of the area here overnight, leaving us with some sunshine again tomorrow. In the meantime, though, you can see just how close those clouds from Sandy came into far eastern Missouri earlier today. Still seeing the rotation around this system, but it is weakening with 45-mile-an-hour winds with this storm. It continues to push to the north. Still rain and even some snow wrapping around this system, so still producing some impacts in the northeast. Meanwhile, our next cold front here on the west coast, that'll be here Saturday, and it's going to bring some rain. In fact, we bumped the rain up to an earlier Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. So tonight, low temperatures close to the freezing mark, 32 at Columbia to 30 at the lake and 34 at Sedalia tonight. Highs tomorrow reaching the upper 50s to near 60. 60 degrees at the lake, 62 at Sedalia, 58 at Columbia, and 59 tomorrow at Jefferson City. It'll be a nice evening for trick-or-treaters. It'll be quiet and cool with temperatures tomorrow evening into the upper 40s by 9 o'clock. So no rain in that forecast, but showers are going to be here Saturday afternoon and into Saturday night as a cold front comes in. That's going to take us from 65 on Saturday to only 58 Sunday, so we'll cool down for the end of the weekend.
Continuing our Vote 2012 coverage today, the Secretary of State announced 72% of Missouri's voters are expected to turn out 1 week from today. For one of Missouri's biggest elections, political experts are saying undecided voters will likely choose that winner.
The latest polls show 8% of voters still don't know if they're going to choose incumbent Democrat Claire McCaskill or Republican Congressman Todd Akin. With the two still neck and neck, ABC 17's Janae Norman found out the race could come down to those voters.
She joins us live from the Boone County Clerk's office with what we can expect from McCaskill and Akin as they make their final push for the Missouri Senate. Janae.
Well, here at the county clerk's office, Missourians have already been casting their votes for about 5 weeks via absentee ballots. But that poll you mentioned says it's the 8% of undecided voters who likely have the most say in picking Missouri senator. That poll shows McCaskill up 45% to 43%. These last 7 days are crucial in pulling out a win, but both candidates still have obstacles to overcome. Political experts say when it comes to undecided voters, that can mean the race has some real competition, but that doesn't mean good competition.
So you've got candidates who are fairly evenly matched, either because they're both very good, or possibly in the case of Missouri, they're both not so good, right? They both have real liabilities.
If it's a legitimate rape, the female body has ways to try to shut that whole thing down.
That's the liability Professor Overby says Akin's been battling this campaign. While he says Akin's liabilities are his own fault, he says McCaskill's are more environmental. She's a Democrat trying to win in a state where the Democratic presidential candidate is very likely to lose. Looking at the numbers, McCaskill leads Akin 53% to 35%, with young voters 18 to 34%. At the same time, Akin leads 42 to 36%, with independents who've already made up their minds. But when it comes to making up the difference, Overby says McCaskill's advantage is loud and clear.
I'm Claire McCaskill, and I approve this message.
She's got a huge monetary advantage, so she's just clobbering Akin on the airwaves. She's just got much more money to spend. But having said that, Akin has proven that he can run a competitive campaign without having a lot of money. In the 7 days to come, Overby anticipates Missourians will see Akin spending every dollar that he does have to make up for losses, all while McCaskill tries to limit her losses in rural parts of the state. Now, as the candidates continue rallying voters until the last minute, Akin is relying on Republican backers like Newt Gingrich to help fuel his campaign. Senator McCaskill has been missing from the campaign trail for the past week. She took off time to spend with her mother, Betty, who passed away yesterday. Her campaign says she doesn't have any events scheduled right now. Reporting live in Columbia, Janae Norman, ABC 17 News.
Okay, thanks, Janae. The 72% of anticipated Missouri voters this year is higher than the 69% who turned out in the 2008 election.
The presidential candidates are off the campaign trail again today. President Obama instead went to the Red Cross headquarters in Washington. Says the storm is now over because there is serious risk of flooding and downed power lines. He plans to go to New Jersey tomorrow to check out the damage there. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is a Republican and has been an Obama critic. Today, he praised the president's leadership in dealing with the disaster. His opponent, Mitt Romney, visited a disaster relief event in Ohio. He wasn't campaigning, but still trying to stay in the public limelight. Plans to head back onto the campaign trail tomorrow in Florida. And if you cannot make it to the polls 1 week from today, you have only 1 day left to request an absentee ballot. If you plan to vote absentee, you still have until next Monday to get it done in person. Missouri is one of 15 states that does not have early voting, which means you will have to provide a reason for not being able to make it to the polls next Tuesday.
Looking at news around Missouri tonight, a second victim from a plane crash in a St. Louis suburb has died. The 69-year-old woman died yesterday. She had been on life support since the plane crashed last week as it was trying to land at the Creve Coeur airport. The pilot, who was the woman's husband, died at the scene. Now, he attempted to land the plane on the shore of Creve Coeur Lake, but the small plane flipped into the water. The couple was returning home. They had taken off from Ohio, where they had stopped for fuel.
More than 400 dogs are taken from unlicensed breeding facilities in Johnson County, just west of Sedalia today. The State Department of Agriculture worked with the Sheriff's Department and the Humane Society to rescue the animals. A tip indicated the animals were housed in substandard conditions. No word yet if any criminal charges will be filed. Many of the dogs were Chihuahuas and Shih Tzus. A section of New Mexico near El Paso still evacuated, and tonight emergency workers still don't know what is causing hundreds of people to get sick.
And the teen accused of killing the Colorado girl will have to face the murder charges as an adult. Tonight we're learning more about what happened to the victim. And coming up new tonight at 6, right now Columbia leaders are scrambling to fill an unexpected opening on the Columbia School Board. We'll show you who's fighting for that spot tonight during a crucial time for the district.
This segment of ABC 17 News is sponsored by your local Nissan dealers. Visit ChooseNissan.com.
Last Halloween, they delivered a classic.
Want to dance?
Yes! And tonight, Happy Endings is going to be a real thriller.
We always have to be LaToya.
Shut up, LaToya! All new Happy Endings, tonight, 9/8 Central on ABC.
Saying yes to Proposition B is important. A small increase in tobacco prices means a big boost for our schools. But big tobacco companies are trying to deceive us about Prop B. Wouldn't be the first time they lied to us. The law clearly says the money is dedicated to education, and regular public audits will make sure. Tobacco companies aren't looking out for our children's health or education, but we can. Don't let the big tobacco companies stand in the way. Vote yes on Prop B.
The Attorney General is Missouri's chief prosecutor and law enforcement officer. That's been my career, prosecuting thousands of cases, from crooked stockbrokers to serial killers. My opponent's attack ads fail to mention he's never prosecuted a single case in court, not one. As Attorney General, I'll fight crime in a way my opponent never will. Those are the issues, and that's the choice. I'm Attorney General Chris Koster, and I ask for your vote on November 6th.
With just 2 votes, Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler proves she's part of the problem, putting partisan politics before working-class families. April last year and again this March. Hartzler voted to end Medicare as we know it, while protecting tax breaks for millionaires. It's why a local paper endorsed prosecutor Teresa Hensley, a smart moderate with good sense. Hensley will leave politics out of it, protect Medicare, and put our middle class first again. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this message.
Can we really trust Jason Kander?
I believe in President Obama.
Kander supported the Obamacare tax hike, supported massive job-killing regulations, and voted for $700 million in new debt. Kander can't be trusted.
I believe in President Obama.
Shane Scholler believes in us. Shane will end wasteful government spending, create jobs by cutting red tape, and restore integrity to our elections. Vote Shane Scholler, Secretary of State.
You're watching ABC 17 News at 5 in high definition on KMIZ.
Looking at news around America tonight, the Coast Guard is continuing its search for the captain of a replica tall ship that sank during Hurricane Sandy off the coast of North Carolina yesterday. Now, the Coast Guard says they're still hopeful, the 63-year-old is alive because the water temperature is near 80 degrees in that area. The Guard rescued 14 crew members by helicopter right after the ship flipped. Hours later, they found one of the two missing, but she died at a hospital.
The teenager accused of killing the 10-year-old Colorado girl as she walked to school will be charged as an adult. Prosecutors today charged 17-year-old Austin Sigg with 17 counts, including murder, sexual assault, and robbery. Sigg didn't speak during the hearing and did not look at his relatives in the classroom. The defense is expected to ask the judge to send the case back to juvenile court. The 10-year-old girl, Jessica Ridgway, disappeared October 5th. Some of her remains were found in a park 5 days later. Her relatives were also in the courtroom today. 4 people are killed in a Colorado house fire, and tonight it is being treated as a criminal investigation. The fire broke out overnight in a neighborhood just east of Pueblo. Firefighters say by the time they got to the house, flames and smoke were pouring out of it. Tonight, they are not releasing any information about the victims, only saying no one escaped. No cause yet to the fire either.
The 2 children killed in a school bus crash yesterday in Kentucky were both 3 years old. The boy and the girl both died at the scene of the crash. The bus was carrying students from the Head Start preschool program when it turned over and crashed into a tree. A total of 9 children, all preschoolers, were on the bus. 5 are still hospitalized tonight. A hazardous material has now made 200 people sick and is causing the evacuation of a New Mexico town near El Paso, Texas. The evacuation is for everyone within a couple of miles of this industrial park, which also means a nearby airport is closed. Those sick are being treated for lightheadedness, nausea, and dizziness. Authorities are still investigating what this hazardous material is and where it's coming from.
A man's now charged in the bomb threat that caused the evacuation of Texas A&M earlier this week. Investigators say that the man and a female friend may also be responsible for a similar threat at Texas State University the day before. Right now, the suspect is charged with making a terroristic threat, accused of sending an email to the school, which is located in College Station.
Well, some nice weather here as we head into tomorrow for Halloween. I'll break down the temperatures for you, and we'll take a look at the next change coming in from the west as a cold front brings rain this weekend. Next.
This segment of ABC 17 News is sponsored by your local Nissan dealers. Visit ChooseNissan.com.
Caleb Rowden stands with Todd Aiken. Rowden wants employers to deny birth control, and he supports higher insurance rates for women and children. Rowden believes the legislature should not create jobs, and his attacks on Ken Jacob are funded by extremists who will own Rowden's vote. Caleb Rowden, unqualified, inexperienced, too extreme. Ken Jacob will fight for women and children and stand with Governor Nixon to create jobs and bring back public trust.
Hi, I'm Caleb Rowden. The tired politics of the past aren't working anymore. Out-of-control spending is hurting our families, and overreaching regulations are choking the life out of farms and small business. Missourians deserve something better. Here's my plan. Cut taxes for working families. Keep government off the backs of farmers and small business, and invest in our future by investing in education. I'm Caleb Rowden. On November 6th, join me and vote for something new, something better.
I'm John Wright. My grandparents met at a University of Missouri picnic in 1950. They've been married for 61 years. We've always had a special community here in Mid-Missouri, and we know our path to future success lies in our traditional Mid-Missouri values, like protecting our investments in education, helping small businesses and working families by simplifying the tax code, and maintaining our dedication to fiscal responsibility and balanced budgets. Together, let's honor the contributions of those who've come before us and create a brighter future for those to come.
Hi, I'm Caleb Rowden. The tired politics of the past aren't working anymore. Out-of-control spending is hurting our families, and overreaching regulations are choking the life out of farms and small business. Missourians deserve something better. Here's my plan. Cut taxes for working families. Keep government off the backs of farmers and small business, and invest in our future by investing in education. I'm Caleb Rowden. On November 6th, join me and vote for something new, something better.
We have have those clouds coming in again from the northwest this evening, and temperatures are in the 50s. It's cool at the lake, 56 degrees after hitting 60 today. And at Columbia, Joe Machens, BMW, right now sitting at 55. Still fairly clear skies over Columbia, but you can see some of those high, thin clouds over Jefferson City at St. Mary's at 56. And we are seeing at FFO Home in Sedalia, 53, with thicker cloud cover as these will be passing through the area tonight. You can see all of our weather cams on our website at abc17news.com. Just click on the weather tab and you'll be able to view these any time of day and see the sky conditions in your area. Out the door forecast tomorrow morning, temperatures will start off near freezing again, 33 degrees at 6 o'clock in the morning. As we head through the day, another quiet day here in mid-Missouri. 50 degrees at noon with a cool breeze blowing. We'll see just some high, thin clouds. The clouds that are going through tonight are actually going to thin out, leaving us with more sunshine tomorrow, and temperatures with 58 degrees at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, we have our Sandy, the remnants of Sandy, continuing to circulate and pull off to the north, and behind that system, another little wave of low pressure aloft, which has been bringing our high clouds in. The next bigger change isn't going to be until the weekend. This cold front out here is the one that's going to bring our rain for Saturday. Nothing big, no storms with that, but we will get a little bit of rain, and we bump that up to Saturday afternoon through Saturday night. So right now, just some high clouds passing through, not any rain coming out of those. If a drop could make it to the ground, that'd be about the most we'd see. And you can see how these continue to move out. We have that northwest wind, which will still keep us in the 50s to near 60 tomorrow. But tomorrow night, they start to switch around. You can see out to the west, the winds come in more from the southwest. That'll bring those warming trend to the area for the end of the week, and temperatures will actually feel pretty nice before the next cold front comes in. And that will be here Saturday to bring temperatures from the 60s back down to the upper 50s on Sunday. And a lot of clouds around Sunday, but I think the rain would be out of the area by early in the morning. So it looks like a dry end to the weekend. And temperatures are going to stay fairly cool then for the start of next week. And we do set our clocks back an hour Saturday night before going to bed. And it looks like October, by the way, is going to end up below average. The first time we've seen a monthly temperature below average since last year in September. So it's been a while since we've seen some cooler weather around mid-Missouri.
Yeah,
that's true.
And we're going to have a lot more coming our way, too. Thanks, Sharon.
The stock market is attempting to return to some normalcy tomorrow. An update on the conditions of the New York Stock Exchange is still to come.
More deadly attacks in Afghanistan is having an impact on the work NATO's trying to complete. Details of what happened today is coming up next.
Big Time and John Wright likes playing with other people's money. Wright was an investment banker at Goldman Sachs, one of the firms at the center of the financial collapse. Then he started his own hedge fund. Now he's back in Missouri with more big ideas. Bigger sales taxes, bigger gas taxes, and the biggest tax of them all, Obamacare. Wright wants to raise our taxes while he hides his money in the Caymans. November 6th, it's time to end his big timing fun. Say no to John Wright.
Dave Spence's latest ad? False. Spence is no conservative. He's a St. Louis banker whose bank got bailed out by taxpayers, and they still haven't paid us back. Now, records show Spence and his companies failed to pay their taxes on time. Nearly $400,000 in late taxes. Penalized 12 times, sued, hauled to court, and forced to pay up. With a record like that, how could we let Dave Spence manage Missouri's budget?
Jay Nixon isn't telling you the truth. Jay Nixon doesn't work with Republicans, and he's not independent.
Jay Nixon didn't balance the budget. The legislature did. And we wouldn't let him raise taxes.
We've had a AAA credit rating since 1962.
Jay Nixon tried to implement Obamacare, and he vetoed my bill to protect our religious freedom.
I'm Dave Spence. Jay Nixon is running attack ads against me because he's been a failed governor. If you agree with me that Missouri can and must do better, please vote Dave Spence on November 6th.
Cole McNary reduced the size of government, balanced the budget without a tax increase. Cole McNary will ban all lobbyist gifts, end sweetheart deals and kickbacks.
And I'll invest state dollars to create jobs and a secure future.
Clint Zweifel, his sweetheart deals for contributors cost taxpayers millions, took thousands from developers and bankers, then awarded them millions. A state agency Zweifel headed, so corrupt the FBI investigated. Zweifel, cash for cronies, not our jobs.
ABC 17 News closed captioning is sponsored by Midwest Computech, your nationally recognized local IT specialist.
A string of insider attacks continues in Afghanistan.
A man wearing an Afghan police uniform killed 2 NATO service members today. NATO is not giving any other details about the shooting and says it is still under investigation. At least 53 international troops have now died in attacks by Afghan soldiers or police. The continued violence is now endangering the partnership with international troops and Afghan forces.
The body of former Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat will be exhumed next month. Criminal investigators from France will take care of the procedure, and a Swiss investigative team will also be there at the same time. The push to re-examine the circumstances of his death in 2004 came after a Swiss lab recently discovered traces of a deadly radioactive isotope on his clothes. That discovery is again feeding the suspicion that he was poisoned. The cause of the leader's death is listed as a stroke, but the source of an illness that he suffered in his final weeks has never been determined.
As we told you, the New York Stock Exchange will reopen tomorrow, but there was some futures trading today. It was very light. The Dow Jones futures, broader S&P futures, and NASDAQ futures were all down when that trading ended early this morning. Many companies have already postponed earnings reports for the week. There appears to be no damage to the trading floor at the Stock Exchange, and contingency plans are in place should anything change. Home prices went up last month in nearly every U.S. city. That price increased about 2% compared to the same month a year ago, making it the 3rd straight increase and a faster pace than in July. Seattle is the only city tracked by the index reporting a drop in price.
The final check of your extended forecast is still to come. Stay with us.
Last Halloween, they delivered a classic. Want to dance?
Yes!
And tonight, Happy Endings is going to be a real thriller.
Why do I always have to be LaToya?
Shut up, LaToya! All new Happy Endings tonight, 9/8 Central on ABC.
I'm Vicki Hartzler, and I approve this message. To get America and our economy back on track, I'm working to reverse the failed policies of the extreme liberals in Washington. Stop the Obama administration's senseless red tape and extreme environmental regulations that kill jobs and raise energy prices. Repeal Obamacare and replace it with real reforms to lower health costs for all of us. And to lead by example, I cut my own office budget by 12% and return money to the Treasury.
Caleb Rowden stands with Todd Aiken. Rowden wants employers to deny birth control, and he supports higher insurance rates for women and children. Rowden believes the legislature should not create jobs, and his attacks on Ken Jacob are funded by extremists who will own Rowden's vote. Caleb Rowden, unqualified, inexperienced, too extreme. Ken Jacob will fight for women and children and stand with Governor Nixon to create jobs and bring back public trust.
Socket is ABC 17's exclusive provider of local telephone service. With Socket, now you have a choice. Call Socket at 1-800-SOCKET-3.
Hi, I'm Jim from Wayne's Heating and Cooling and Appliance Repair.
Jim's the best repairman ever.
What about me?
You're at advertising. Jim can fix appliances like these.
Caden.
I can fix it. I can fix it. Somebody hand me that hammer.
Now what?
You gotta start them young. It's true. They can't fix them. And if you can't either, call Wayne's Heating and Cooling and Appliance Repair.
Missouri has the lowest tobacco tax in the nation. Prop B will discourage young people from smoking and will save on health care costs. The increase will provide much-needed revenue for smoking cessation and health care, for our public schools, and for higher education. I urge you to vote yes on Proposition B. You will find it on the back of the ballot. Our kids are counting on you. I'm State Representative Chris Kelly, and I'm grateful for your support.
Well, another fairly cool day tomorrow, but not bad for Halloween. Temperatures do continue to climb a little bit through the week. The warmest Friday and Saturday, but a cool down Sunday. We'll pick up a few rain showers Saturday, so during the day we could get a little wet here in mid-Missouri.
All right, thanks a lot, Sharon. Thank you for joining us. See you at 6.